We have to be clear, the world has never been better than it is right now. Thanks mostly to globalization, there are less and less wars, global poverty is falling markedly, and quality of life is generally improving. This is obviously not happening in a uniform way across all countries, but globally everything is improving. Many Western countries have decided to rebel and refuse openness, as well as understanding, among their nations. In Europe, for example, far-right parties are spreading uncertainty. There's Le Pen in France, there's Wilders in the Netherlands, there's Hofer in Austria. These are all good examples of a new wave of politics that is also affecting countries like Finland, Denmark, Germany, and Hungary, among others. Further, it is also partly responsible for the Brexit victory in the United Kingdom. It is a movement that is taking advantage of fear, despite the fact that we are living in societies that are becoming safer and safer. But as you well know, these ideas are not something that is exclusive to Europe. Donald Trump won the US election, and he has spoken about his views, which are clearly contrary to globalization and immigration. At this point, the best question we can ask is, are there any developed countries left that still believe in open borders and globalization? Well, the answer to that question is yes, there are. And in the video today, we're going to be looking at one of the most significant of those countries.
Canada's openness.
In the year 2016 alone, Canada admitted to its country more than 300,000 immigrants. That is close to 1% of Canada's total population. Further, this is a greater portion than any other developed country. And do note here that this is nothing new. This is something that's been going on for 2 decades. The result of this is that today, 1 in every 5 Canadians was born abroad. This is a percentage that is almost double that of the US and the UK. And the fact of the matter is that this hasn't led to any sort of national tragedy. In fact, quite the opposite, and Canadians well know this. According to the prestigious Environics Institute, most citizens, almost 80% of them, consider immigration to be good for the economy and think that it is one of the best ways to deal with some of the issues facing Canada, such as its aging population. If you really think about it, it does make sense. Employment is the country's most productive asset, so why would they want to prevent it from growing? In the context of a dynamic economy, what's the harm of immigrants who are willing to work, who are willing to set up companies, and want to get an education? It is something that we at VisualPolitik think is actually pretty good.
Trudeau's first year.
In 2015, Justin Trudeau became Canada's Prime Minister. He defeated, against all odds, the Conservative Stephen Harper. Harper had held the office for almost 10 years. Since then, the political agenda has been dominated by a determination to deepen the country's pro-globalization policies. Trudeau himself, a left-winger, has been quite an advocate of promoting free trade and social mobility. In his first year, he signed a free trade agreement with the European Union and confirmed Canada's adherence to the TPP. Although Trump's first action in office was to destroy the TPP, it was going to be the biggest commercial agreement in history. In just a year, Canada has built up free trade agreements with nearly 60% of the global economy. Further, Trudeau wants to expand this and increase trade with China.
We've agreed to launch exploratory talks towards a potential free trade agreement between Canada and China.
And the government is doing more of the same concerning immigration. They've even set the goal of increasing the number of immigrants they get by 50% every single year.
From a refugee fleeing Somalia to becoming a member of parliament in Canada, Ahmed Hussein has once again made history this week after he was named Canada's Minister of Immigration by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in a major cabinet reshuffle.
Given these principles, it probably shouldn't surprise you to learn that Canada is one of the countries that are most committed to receiving Syrian refugees. Canada has received more than 33,000 Syrian refugees since Trudeau took office. In his first year, Trudeau himself went to Toronto's airport to welcome the refugees into the country.
migration policy.
But hold on a second, because immigration to Canada isn't totally free. In fact, it's not as free as we at VisualPolitik would like. But what's really important here is not whether there are not excessive administrative difficulties, but rather that citizens shouldn't automatically view those who are immigrating to the country as criminals. And this is precisely why Canada is so successful. They are a country that takes pride in looking for additional citizens. They are not looking for temporary immigrants. Since 1967, immigration to Canada has been based on a points system. This system considers qualifications, experience, professional skills, and a knowledge of either French or English. In the same way, the system also gives priority to those who are needed by Canada's companies.
Canada will lift the Mexican visa requirement that has restricted travel to Canada. This move will make it easier for our Mexican friends to visit Canada while growing our local economies and strengthening our communities.
The tendency seems to be to make these procedures easier. But what is really important is the social recognition and the integration of immigrants into the country. The Canadian Bill of Rights itself recognizes the concept of multicultural patrimony. There are solid policies to encourage integration, which, by the way, don't focus on stripping the immigrant of their original cultural identity, but rather see that as an enriching factor. For example, in Canadian schools, it is easy to find classes that are taught in Spanish or Ukrainian, and the results support these policies indeed. In the last decade, Canada's growth has been bigger than the US, the UK, and Germany, and its citizens enjoy a very high standard of living. Now, hopefully, it might be more clear as to why Canada's immigration website collapsed after Trump's victory. You also might understand why The Economist has also had cover pages highlighting Canada's liberty. Now, of course, the Canadian model is not perfect. But compared to the new nationalist and populist tendencies of other countries, Canada has shown what a desirable alternative openness can really be. The key takeaway that we hope this video really puts across is to try and make things better in your country rather than isolate it from the rest of the world. The latter of which is an argument that many politicians like Trump are defending. Well, this is our opinion here at VisualPolitik, and now we would love to know yours. Do you think immigration causes as many problems as people claim? Would you like to live in a culturally diverse country like Canada? Let us know in the comments below. Also, if you enjoy this video, please do give it a like and also subscribe to our channel. Click on the icon on the screen now for brand new videos every Monday and Thursday. And as always, I'll see you next time.